Just imagine if you had a boss who expected you to reply at like 12 midnight or work for you on a Sunday. Probably doesn't sound or feel good, doesn't it? Hi there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal at the end of this video is to be able to walk you through the common misconceptions when it comes to hiring and managing a virtual assistant. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lacaba. I have been working from home since I was 15 years old and now have an outsourcing agency here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday on how to have an online career and every Thursday on how to have an online business. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now in a previous video that I've already done, I already made a video on the top mistakes that people usually make when it comes to working with a virtual assistant. Now if you are someone who's right now thinking of, hey, maybe I need a VA, then this is the video for you, so you can get all of the misconceptions out of the way and you can just get started with your VA in the right way. So the first common misconception when it comes to hiring and managing a virtual assistant is that they can only really do admin tasks. So this means that, oh, my VA, I just needed her to do my email, my calendar, dust off some folders. But in reality, a virtual assistant can do more than that. They can start helping you out with the operations side of your business, creating documentation, managing maybe your social media. Like they could start taking over the marketing side. The point that I'm trying to make here is don't try to put your assistant in a little corner because they can do so much more. It just depends on how much more you're willing to let them do. Another misconception that I usually see is expecting that you have to be on the same time zone for someone to become your virtual assistant. Now this is a misconception and a mistake to think about it, because honestly you don't need to have your assistant be up when you are, unless if it's going to be for very specific tasks. What I mean by that is, let's say that you need your assistant to do calls for you, like in the morning, where it is morning your time, their nighttime. So that is the only time probably that you would want to have a VA that's the same time zone as you. But in reality, things can still get done while you sleep. Things can still be cleaned up while you are still asleep. You don't have to have your assistant, again, be up when you are. You guys can set up a call as your day is ending and theirs is starting. I'm speaking here from experience of having a Philippine virtual assistant, is you can have that overlap of talking to each other, of syncing, like, hey, these are things I was able to get done today. Can you make sure that this gets done today? So again, your virtual assistant doesn't have to be on the same time zone that you are. Another one is virtual assistants aren't good at multitasking. Well, in reality, and if you've been in my channel a lot, I say that I don't really believe in multitasking. I just believe that you know how to prioritize in a way that you know how to do things faster. So virtual assistants are usually, if they have enough experience, are amazing when it comes to multitasking and are amazing when it comes to juggling different tasks. There's a lot of what they usually even pride themselves on, that they're the kind of people who, or the kind of person who can manage a lot of different things. But you have to remember that as the employer, as the boss, it is your responsibility to let them know what the priorities are instead of just expecting them to know what they are. Next is another common misconception is the VA is always available. Now what I mean by that is you expect that your assistant will be there for you 24/7, but in reality you do have to set boundaries. Just imagine if you had a boss who expected you to reply at like 12 midnight or work for you on a Sunday. Probably doesn't sound or feel good, doesn't it? So you have to treat your employee the same way that you want to be treated as an employee. So make sure that you set boundaries with your assistant of telling them like, hey, it's okay if you don't respond to me on a Wednesday, I'll send you some stuff, but you don't have to do them until Monday. So it's giving them that time to breathe, that time to take a break, to be with their family, because they're probably wanting to work from home, to be with their family. So make sure to take that into consideration when you're working with a virtual assistant. Next common misconception is that they're difficult to manage, especially since they are working remote. You can't tap them on the shoulder. You can't just have a one-on-one meeting with them at any time at the office. So it is a little bit of a jump, especially if you've never done it before. But in reality, if you have the right systems in place, like you have a way that you can sync with them, you have tools that can look at their hours. For example, a tool that I've recommended before is Hubstaff, where it makes it easier for you to monitor what they're doing if you're that kind of boss. And then you're also setting up systems that you guys communicate really well, it's not really difficult anymore to manage the virtual assistants that you might have mismanaged before. Just keep in mind that usually if you are struggling on management, then there are a lot of books out there, a lot of courses that you can study just so you can get started on being an expert on it. Next common misconception is they don't need training. They're gonna be perfect. They're gonna it's their responsibility to train themselves, to upgrade themselves. But in reality, it has to be your responsibility as the boss. You have to make sure that you are giving them the resources, giving them the tools, giving them the study so they can constantly upgrade their skills, because they're just going to give that back into your business. So make sure that you invest in your assistants in some form or another by giving them books, giving them, like I said, courses, so they can upgrade the way that they think and upgrade their skills as well. The next common misconception that I see a lot is that my assistants will leave me once, I show them my whole business. They're not gonna, it's basically that. They're just, my assistant will leave me. But the reality is, as long as you are loyal to your assistant, they might have the best skills in the world already just because they work well with you and you've done the job of investing in them. Truth of the matter is, they're probably just going to be as loyal to you as you are to them. You have to keep that in mind. And even if they do end up leaving, another reality is they're never going to do your business as well as you do. They're not going to have the same passion that you have. They're not going to know all of the things that brought you to this point. So honestly, that kind of mindset where you're just thinking, oh, they're gonna leave me if I do this much investment on them, if I train them in this way, the way that I'm doing it, that's just a scarcity mindset and will hurt you and the assistant at the same time. So don't go into the fear, give them as much loyalty, and even again, if you guys part ways, then it's better that you guys even just part as friends and keep in contact. Really, just keep that in mind. Next common misconception is just thinking that your assistant instantly knows what to do the moment that they're hired. This will hurt you so much because your assistant, even though they have 10 years experience, 5 years experience, or no experience at all, they will need the structure of your business. Even though they work with someone maybe in the same industry as you, in reality, your business, the way you run things, are going to be different. So you have to give them that context. You have to give them that background of what it is that you do, the goal of the company. That way you have a more structured way to get them through the process. I already made a video on how to onboard a new employee, which you guys can check out. But basically, keep in mind to give them context when it comes to hiring someone new. Next common misconception, and it's related to an earlier point that I just made, is they might steal my confidential information. They might steal my client list. They might steal, all of these grand ideas that I have. But again, in reality, they're stealing from you. They're not creating them. Even if they execute on it perfectly, they still won't be able to be flexible enough to do it the way that you will do it. So again, this kind of mindset will hurt you and the assistant because you are limiting yourself, what you show to them, because you're so scared that they'll be running off with the information that you have. But in reality, if you put in the right systems, like using LastPass, for example, where they don't need to see your password, or putting it into a protected Google Doc or something, if you're really scared that they're going to actually do something bad, you can do that. And then later on, once the trust builds, then you can see oh no, it's fine. Another way that you can solve this is just having them sign an NDA. It's just more of a security between you and the virtual assistant, so both of you know the boundaries of where this relationship is going. Another misconception about having a virtual assistant is that they're only temporary and they won't last long. In reality, it really depends on how you treat them. Like I said, they're only as loyal to you as you are loyal to them. You have to show them that same level of loyalty that you want them to show you. So if you are a boss who believes in all of the misconceptions that I just said, who does all of the mistakes in the other videos that I've created, yeah, they probably won't last long. But if you actually work and study and learn from other people how they manage their employees, then you can have people who work for you for 5 years or 10 years, as long as it's part of their plan. Nowadays, a lot of employees, whether they're virtual or in person, might not last longer than 2 to 3 years. And that is, again, okay. They will need to explore different things, and that's not even a personal thing. They just wanted to do something else. So just keep that in mind, that you can never really trap someone within a relationship, just like how you can never trap someone in a romantic relationship. But just as long as you guys part as friends, you treat them in the right way, then you probably will see them again, even if they don't leave, or again, you just have a really good contact with someone who's really successful. Another common misconception about working with virtual assistants is they won't have a good enough English. So what I mean by this is you might be hiring someone who is from the Philippines like me, and you're expecting them, because it's their second language, that they won't be able to either understand you or work in the highest capacity to be able to be your virtual assistant. In reality, you can have tests, English tests that will filter them out. Also, the more that you are talking back and forth with them, like a verbal conversation, it actually trains them on how to speak in English better. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of filter people out, to train them as well to speak in better English. But that is kind of the answer to that. Like, they can learn as long as you tell them, like, hey, I need for you to upgrade your English skills. And that's usually the one way that you can do it. Now, if you guys like this video and learned something new, make sure to hit that thumbs up button right there and comment below. Do you have any other misconceptions that you had before hiring your own virtual assistant? Let me know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday, which you guys can check out the playlists right here and the news video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!